Hi, I'm Dan Moltzan, and for the past 40 years, me and my brother Stan have been serving Polish and other assorted meats to the communities of Northeast Minneapolis and legendary NHL players. These are our stories. This is Spectators. The year was 1979, and brother, things were going great. I had just opened up my first restaurant in Northeast Minneapolis when, on day 3, who should stumble through the door but Mr. Stan Mikita. He was covered in blood, sweat, and viscera, and all he kept shouting was, "Oh, I need heroin. Oh, I'm sick off the heroin. Oh, I don't get any fucking heroin soon. I'm gonna die." And I said, "Listen here, Mr. Mikita. I may not have any heroin, but you know what I do have? It's the best darn Polish in Northeast Minneapolis. Safe for Komarczyks." Now, not too long after that, Mr. Stan was going around all the local teams, telling them how good I was at what I did. And, after a while, I got a job working up there in Alberta, Canada. Now, they took me up there, and I was meeting the fellas on the team, and they said, I thought as a joke, they said, "Hey, I hope you're good with a poutine." And I said, "Well, I don't know how to do a poutine, but I can make you a Polish or a hot dish or whatever." And who should walk up to me but Mr. Mark Messier. And he gets in real close so that only I can hear, and he says, "Listen here, fuckface. If you fuck up my poutine, I'll murder you and your whole family. And then NHL will cover it up because I'm the guy who scores the goals and you're the guy who makes the sausages." Now, that was a pretty tense moment. But it was about that time that I remembered poutine is just a full boat without the walleye fingers. So that cleared that up. Now, later on that night, I was working the hotel bar, doing room service, when I get a call for a Polish and a bottle of vodka, or as we call it back in Minnesota, Wisconsin breakfast. Now, I must got mixed up in my head the numbers, because I go up there to the door and I knock on it and nobody answers. Well, not being one to give up on the first try, I gave it another go. Nobody answers. So I say, one way or another, somebody's getting this Polish. So I open up that door, and who should be behind there but the nines himself, Mr. Wayne Gretzky. Naked as the day he was born, hard as black ice, humble as pie. And he looks at me, the great one, he looks at me and he says, "I don't know who you are. I don't know where I am or who I am. But if you give me just a single bump of cocaine, I'll give you half this leprechaun treasure I got here." Well, not being one to want to let down the great one, I says, "Oh, Mr. Gretzky, I don't have any cocaine, but you know what I do have? That's the best darn Polish in Northeast Minneapolis. Safe for Komarczyks." I got a Polish into him, and a couple hours that he was right as rain. And you know what night that was? Game 5, 1980.